Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Thank you for everyone who joins me every morning on Fridays to come together as a little group. And they help me so much to anchor uh, this work, this amazing work that is actually life-changing. And so I'm feeling an overwhelm of gratitude. So I want to give gratitude for all of those who come and join me live. You don't know how much that helps me and supports me, so thank you. And to all of those who listen at another time, whether at the four corners of this beautiful globe, thank you all for watching, and give yourselves some gratitude for listening to these sessions, for doing this work for yourself. You have no idea how not only it could benefit your life, but those around you. So I'm going to start the session this morning. Actually, I was drawn to my book, Krishnamurti's The Book of Life. And I felt the session coming in from early this morning, and I thought this would be a great way to begin the session. So you can go get yourselves nice and cozy, and close your eyes and just feel the vibrations of his words. And we're going to go ahead and begin the body talk session. This part is called Memory Negates Love. Is it possible to love without thinking? What do you mean by thinking? Thinking is a response to memories of pain or pleasure. There is no thinking without the residue which incomplete experience leaves. Love is different from emotion and feeling. Love cannot be brought into the field of thought, whereas feeling and emotion can be brought. Love is a flame without smoke, ever fresh, creative, joyous. Such love is dangerous to society, to relationship. So thought steps in, modifies it, guides it, legalizes it, puts it out of danger. Then one can live with it. Do you not know that when you love someone, you love the whole of mankind? Do you not know how dangerous it is to love man? Then there is no barrier, no nationality. Then there is no craving for power and position. And things assume their value. Such a man is dangerous to society. Such a man is dangerous to society. For being of love, the process of memory must come to an end. Memory comes into being only when experience is not fully, completely understood. Memory is only the residue of experience. It is the result of a challenge which is not yet fully comprehended. Life is a process of challenges and response. Challenge is always new, but the response is ever old. This response, which is conditioning, which is the result of the past, must be understood and not disciplined or condemned away. It means living each day anew, fully and completely. This complete living is possible only when there is love, when your heart is full, not with the words nor with the things made by the mind, only where there is love. Memory ceases, then every movement is a rebirth. We're tapping right into bringing these words of wisdom through the whole body mind. When I was reading that, grief was coming up, so my lungs have been burdened a little bit. And as I was reading, I was overwhelmed actually with grief through the lungs, how separate we have become, or actually not, how separate we think we are, us versus them, me versus this person, this society against this society. It's all an illusion. There is no separateness. We are not even to say, oh, I'm a part of nature. No, you are nature. There is no difference between you and a tree and a blade of grass and a squirrel, and all of this grief is coming up. And this thinking has become the mechanism from which we live our life, but it's not actually thinking. It's ruled by thoughts of memory of what you think you lack and what you think you need. And it has governed our whole existence. It has driven us to hate. And what is the only neutralizer of hate? Well, that is love. There is no thing that love cannot cure. And so we're anchoring this whole session with love and starting with yourself. Those things that you say about yourself, that you compare yourself to yourself, even maybe even a minute ago. Oh, last week I was feeling so good. There must be something wrong with me, and grief is coming up. So I'm using a biogenics on repeat here to dump this grief from comparing yourself, separating yourself, thinking that you're less than, or even on the other side of the spectrum, thinking that you're better than. Why is your life more important than the life of an ant? Ooh, and there comes in the superiority, right? That superiority that you think that you're better than something, better than someone. And this thinking causes separation. So we're dumping out of the, we're going to do out of the brain, we're actually going to do anchor this to the heart, this us versus them, this separation. So we're going to use this as dumping this pathological consciousness out of the brain, out of the whole myelin sheath. So my lungs feel a lot better. Oh, I could breathe now. There's no separateness. It's all an illusion. It's an illusion created by thinking, created by memory. And in comes holding grudges right into that spleen. Now, spleen works with the lymphatic system, and it also works with your Wei Qi, and it also works with your immune system. And there's a hardening here that I've noticed. Instead of being adaptable, okay, you don't want all things to come in, with germs and little viruses and bugs. Yes, you have to have a strong immune system, but that your body is different than everybody's body. You're your own universe unto yourself. So we need a strong immune system to see that natural protection, not defensiveness. And the Wei Qi and that pancreas has gone into defensive. I need to defend myself at all costs. And this rigidifies the Wei Qi. And so it's not actually able to do its job. So we've got to dump toxicity of thinking out of that pancreas. So thick. It's causing inflammation. I can see swelling in the joints. If you have any latent viruses that have been hiding around, that rigidity is booting up those viruses, because viruses love to eat off excessive emotion. So fear is coming in, anger is coming in. There we go. We got to dump that pathological expression of those emotions out of the pancreas and out of the those pathological expressions of fear and anger out of the pancreas. We got to do a little bit of repair. The Wei Qi of the pancreatic cells is low. And the functioning of the pancreas is a little like, could be doing better. So the pancreas filters our blood, and it works in direct relation to the immune system. And so we're going to do a correction on the link so that the pancreas and the immune system are speaking really well, and that you can decipher for you, not out of judgment or condemnation of yourself or anyone else, what is good for you. And just because it's good for you doesn't mean that it's good for another. So autonomy is coming in. But just because you're autonomous doesn't give the right to judge. So love is coming in again. So judge in the sense of being having to be judgy, not having good discernment, not having good judgment. Like if you pick up an apple and it's rotten, well, then you need to use your judgment. You have to use your discernment. Well, this apple is rotten. I don't think I'm going to eat it. And you can put it on the side. But if you have an apple and it's rotten, and then you start going into stories about how awful this apple is and how many times this worker has thrown around the apples, there we go. And then you start condemning the worker who's placed the apples in the cart. That's a very different story. Oh, my whole body just relaxed. And so how do you do this very thing to yourself on a daily basis? How many times do you force and judge yourself, compare yourself to who you think you need to be, who you were, all of these thoughts based on memory and hand-me-down baggage from one family, from one situation down the other. Okay, fine. Stuff happens. We need to remain adaptable, have a strong pancreas, a strong immune system, and a good working Wei Qi. Oh, my lungs can breathe again. I'm feeling into my lungs. The wheeziness has stopped. But the place that I am going drawn to now is my saliva. My mouth is very dry. So we're going to go ahead and do a few things at the same time here through the mouth. We need to do a correction or a repair to the microbiome of the mouth, which is directly linked to the pancreas. And there feels there's an addiction to taking in sweet things or sugary things or things that those comfort foods. Because the sweet, you're not able, perhaps not everyone, but on some level, are missing the sweetness of life. Now, the amazing things happen on a daily basis. It's the magic within the mundane. Your life is not missing magic. Your life is magical. It's that you're unable to see the magic within your life. So there's this tendency to go and put sweeties in the mouth to fill that void that potentially you can be feeling somewhere, whether it be in relationships or relationship to yourself, with others, coworkers. You can think about your own life here. And just as I'm saying, even speaking of it, more saliva is coming to the mouth. So we're doing a correction of the microbiome here. We're balancing out sugars. So anyone who suffers from diabetes or any kind of glucose intolerance or spikes in blood sugar, we're going to do a balancing of blood sugars here, bringing in the sweetness of life that in the mundane, your life is already magical, to the pancreas. We're going to run a hydration to the pancreas here. And, oh, that feels so good. I can breathe again. Linking that to the spleen, so we can start to drain these toxins. So the toxicity that's been held within the body, and also toxic consciousness, toxic thinking, and any kind of pathological emotions that have built up and is causing dysfunction or pain within the body. We're going to dump that. And then we're going to go into back to the mouth, specifically to the taste buds. And we need to revert them back, going way back to before you experienced processed food and processed sugars. We're doing a big cleansing of the tongue. I'm going to bring in structured water, hydrogen water through here, and flushing it out. Okay, this is a little overwhelming and maybe too much at once. So I'm going to link it to your prefrontal cortex, and we'll do this as a slow drip. There we go. That feels much better. So there's not a bombardment of toxins. We've already done a lot this session, so just a slow detoxifying of the tongue, which will also, I'm seeing that I've never seen this before, but that candida that grows on the film of your tongue, that white film, is from sugar. It's too much sugar in the body. It causes candida. It's also gives a forked tongue, speaking sharply. Oh, I never saw that before. I've never saw that before. That's very cool. It influences speaking sharply is what's coming up. Again, wielding your tongue as a sword against yourself or others. We're going to dump that. That's going to start to come out of the system. So you may notice that you're thirsty. Maybe you'll notice the saliva in your mouth. You'll have, if you have dry mouth, maybe you'll notice you have more saliva. And just notice what you're drawn to for food, and your taste buds may change. You'll be like, oh, I used to love this cookie and now I can't even put it close to my mouth, because the mouth microbiome actually starts away from the mouth, about an inch out from the mouth. So even before you get a chance to put it into the mouth, they'll be, nope, this is not for me. And you put it down. All right, we're going to set this as a slow drip. So not everything at once, linking this to your prefrontal cortex so that your body mind will start to decipher what it needs, when it needs, dumping as it needs. So we can do this easily, without pressure, without forcing. And whatever your body, mind, consciousness is ready to start to shift, it will. So body talk is amazing in that sense. It can do no harm. Your body will take what it needs and then it'll dump the rest or save it for later. All right, here we go. Take a nice deep breath. I'm going to tap this in. Wishing everyone a very, very happy weekend. Please drink lots of water, rest, and notice the words that you use. Notice there's a reason why it's called spelling. There's a reason why words are called spelling. And inadvertently cast spells upon yourself and others. So just be a little mindful. And if you notice you're being sharp with yourself, then give yourself some grace, some forgiveness, take responsibility, and begin again. All right. See you all next time. Thank you so much for being here.